This is the quick start guide to Receipt Bank. So by the end of this webinar, what you'll be able to do is firstly, have the mobile app on your phone and be able to access your account. So you'll be all up and running with the mobile app. You'll know how you can send your items through to your accountant using the different submission methods available to you on Receipt Bank. So firstly, that's the mobile app for anything paper-based, the email in for any invoices that you're receiving from your suppliers via email. We have Invoice Fetch, which lets you connect with suppliers that you have online accounts for, and Receipt Bank can automatically pull the bills through. And if you have any documents on your computer, I'll show you how to directly upload those into the Receipt Bank web app. You'll also know how to respond to messages and reports from your accountant, how to set up a bank feed should you need to do that. And I'm also going to go right into the website application and give you a bit of navigational support so you know how to move around within the app. But firstly, I just want to give you a bit of an overview of what Receipt Bank actually is. So Receipt Bank is a digital bookkeeping tool, and the main aim is to really help you get your documents easily to your accountant. As I've said, we have a variety of submission methods depending on the scenario. And once those are in, your accountant has full access to those. We pull out all of the information from those documents, store it securely online so that you can go back and access those whenever you need. And you're able to send those across to Xero in just the click of a button. So why do customers use Receipt Bank? Well, firstly, it's a massive time saver. It gives you a much easier and faster way to get those receipts and invoices through to your accounting software. You're able to save a lot of money as well, because when you have a really clean and robust process for dealing with those receipts and invoices, you're not going to lose documents, and that's going to be that previously you weren't able to claim, but now that you have that really robust process, you're getting that full amount of claimable returns back. Could also be that you make purchases from your own personal accounts, and then you lose the receipt and you don't reimburse yourself, and now you're personally out of pocket. You'll also have peace of mind by using Receipt Bank when it comes to audits. Because all of the documents are stored securely on the cloud, you're able to really easily go back and access those and provide those documents in the case of an audit. So you don't have to worry about keeping all of the paper copies. It's all going to be digital for you. And finally, because you are sending those documents to your accountant as the purchases happen, you're getting that real-time information and providing that through to them. You can now work in a much better way together. You can have far more visibility over things like your cash flow, and you're able to plan and forecast much better for the future. So that's a little bit about why clients use Receipt Bank. But let's see how you can actually use this day to day and how you can actually get set up. So the first step is receiving your invitation from your accountant. There's two ways that you can receive that: over email and over text message. Over email, you have a green Create Your Account button here in the middle of the email. All you do is click that button, set your password, and then you're able to log in straight away. And the second way is that text invitation. You have a blue link in the text message. All you have to do is click on that. That's going to enable you to set your password, and then it's going to download the Receipt Bank mobile app straight to your phone. Once you've downloaded that app, which is only going to take you a couple of clicks, you're able to use that password that you just set previously to log in straight away. So it's only going to take you a couple of minutes to get logged into the Receipt Bank app. And once you're able to access your account, start taking pictures using the green button at the bottom of your application. And you'll have a list of all of the transactions that you've sent in as well. So you can click on each of those transactions to view the picture and the information there. But the first step is, of course, taking those pictures, getting those documents in so you don't lose those. So like I said, you have a green button at the bottom of the app. When you click that, it opens up the camera. And so here you can just simply line up that shot, snap that picture of the receipt and send that on. But the thing to note here is that there are 3 different camera modes that you can use. Firstly, we have the single mode. And that single mode is just for like a straightforward one-page invoice or receipt, basically what we can see here as our example. So it's a case of just snapping that picture and sending it in. But then we also have the combine camera mode. So if you have a 2 or more paged invoice, or maybe a double-sided invoice, or even a really long supermarket docket where you just can't capture all of the information in one image, use the combine mode to snap multiple pictures, and Receipt Bank will combine all of those pictures into one transaction perfectly for you. And then the final mode is the multiple mode. So maybe you went on a big shopping spree this morning and you have 5 separate receipts from that shopping spree. Using the multiple mode will enable you to take 5 separate photos and create 5 separate transactions for those individual purchases. So make sure that you use the right camera mode when you've opened that up, and that your picture is really clear, it's not blurry in any way, and that you've captured all of the vital information. So that's the date of the purchase, the supplier, the total amount, and the VAT, if there is any on that receipt. Once you have snapped that picture, you're able to add additional detail so that you can provide your accountant with that. You have a free text box in the description area here, and then here on our Android version. So you can type whatever you need to into that description box. On top of that, if you are involved in a little bit of the bookkeeping, you're able to apply the chart of accounts or nominal code at this point as well. So you would just select the category from that list. Now, not everyone's going to be doing this, and you will know if this is something that you need to be doing when you're taking that picture. So once you've snapped that picture, it's in the inbox, it's ready for your accountant to process. This is what the iOS app looks like. So you have the list of your transactions here, and say you wanted to see the image of that document. You would just click on that transaction here, this one from EE, and then you would see the document that is in Receipt Bank, and you're able to pull this menu up with your finger to see all of the information against that document. You can make edits this way as well. You can go in, write a description here if you failed to do that when you took the photo. And this is what it looks like on Android. So a very similar view. You have the list of transactions. You can click into that and swipe that menu up with your finger to see all of the information. The next submission method is the email in method. So the mobile app that we've been talking about is absolutely fantastic for anything paper-based, but you're probably wondering, well, I do receive a lot of emails from my suppliers and the invoice is attached to the email. You do not want to print those out to take a photo. All you have to do with those emails that you're receiving is forward them to your unique email in address. Now, your accountant will provide you with that email in address when you're onboarding to Receipt Bank, and you can actually go back in the mobile app and see what that is as well. But all you have to do when you receive an email from your supplier is hit that forward button, pop your email in address in the to section like we can see here, hit send, and that's been uploaded to your Receipt Bank account. Simple as that. One way that you can identify your email in address is the fact that it always ends in @receiptbank.me. So just to clarify here, you have your usual email that you use to log in that you'll be using day to day. And then with Receipt Bank, you also have a unique email in address. Maybe think of it as a forwarding address to really help with that. My 2 top tips for this submission method is firstly, ask your supplier to CC in your unique email and address when they send you an invoice. So you get a copy, but then Receipt Bank also gets a copy as well, and you haven't had to lift a finger. If you'd prefer to have a bit more control over that process, then what you could do instead is set up an auto forward rule on your account. So what that would look like is you'd say on like Outlook or Gmail, every time I receive an invoice from this particular email address. So our example here is shop@howlinghops.co.uk. That email is automatically forwarded to the email in address. And so that way you can have a bit more control. So anything that you're receiving over email, use this unique email address to send it into Receipt Bank. Our third submission method is Invoice Fetch, and this is my absolute favorite method because it really means that we can sit back, relax, and we don't have to worry about sending anything in ourselves. Invoice Fetch lets you connect with your online supplier accounts. And once that connection is established, Receipt Bank will be able to pull the bills from those supplier accounts direct into your Receipt Bank account. So all you have to do is set up the connection and then you can sit back and relax. The types of suppliers that you can set this up for are things like your utility companies, where you go onto their website and log in and download the invoice. Things like mobile phone providers. You might also have like monthly software subscriptions as well. That's really good suppliers to set up. And also have a think about online marketplaces like Amazon and eBay. You might even be buying a high volume of products from those marketplaces and having to go in constantly, figure out what you have downloaded, what you haven't, and make sure you have collected all of the information. So those are really, really good suppliers to set up. Receipt Bank has over 2,500 suppliers that you can select from, so I'm sure you'll be able to find a few that you use. There are two ways that you can set up a Fetch connection. The first way is if your accountant requests for you to set that connection up via email. And that's what we can see in front of us at the moment. So on step number 1, you'll receive an email explaining that a connection is being requested. And you click on that green Connect Supplier button in that email. What's going to happen then is a web page will open, which is the connection page. What you'll have to do, and this is step 2 now that we're looking at, is enter in your username and password for that supplier. So in our example here, we're trying to connect with EE, and so we enter in the username and password for EE. Most likely this is going to be your email address. So this is what you'd use if you go on to that supplier website. Hit the connect button, and then that connection is established. And what we can see here is the document being automatically pulled into Receipt Bank. So this will only take you a couple of minutes to set up, but it's going to save you hours of time in the future. The second way that you can set up a Fetch connection is logging into the website version of Receipt Bank. What you would do is you would log in, use the menu on the left-hand side to go to the Connections tab. You would expand that tab, click on Costs, and then on the green Add a Connection button. From here, you'll have a list of recommended suppliers based off the suppliers that you use, or you can click on the full list to search for a supplier that you'd like to connect with. Once you've searched for that supplier, it's the case of entering in those login details, hitting the connect button, and then you're all good to go. Now, our final submission method is called the direct upload method. And this is how you can upload, firstly, purchase documents, but also your sales invoices into Receipt Bank. So if you are creating paper-based sales invoices, or you're creating those outside of Xero, then Receipt Bank will really help you to manage that sales invoice process. Once again, you're having to log into the website application to complete this. So you would log in, and on the left-hand side on that menu, you have both a costs and a sales workspace. So if you're uploading a cost item, so a purchase, click into that. And if it's a sales, of course, click into the sales workspace. You expand that menu, you'll be in the inbox at that point. And then for both options, you have a green button in the top right-hand corner. Add costs when you're in costs, and of course, add sales if you're in that workspace instead. Once you click on that green button, you're taken to the step number 2 here, where you can literally drag and drop the document into the green box. You also have 2 options here, a single item file and a multiple item PDF. A single item file refers to one purchase or sales invoice, whether that's 1 or multiple pages long. Whereas a multiple item PDF can contain multiple separate documents. So once again, you might have 5 receipts on you. You scan those into your computer. You have a PDF containing 5 separate receipts. You would use the multiple item PDF option by ticking that box and uploading it that way. So those are our submission methods. The next part that we're going to talk about is if you receive a message from your accountant. So you've just sent a document into your accountant, but they actually need to ask you for a bit more information about that. What's going to happen is on your mobile app, you're going to get a notification on your phone letting you know that you've received a message. And when you open up the app in the inbox here, we can see on this EE transaction that there's an orange speech bubble here. So this indicates we've been sent a message from our accountant about that EE document. When you click into that, we can see now on this menu that we have one message here, and we click on that to see what the message is. So we've got the message here saying, can you please let me know which team this is for? And all you need to do is type in the text box here and hit that orange arrow, and that message is sent back to your accountant and you're giving them a response. What makes this really fantastic is that if you need to go back and actually have a look at the document so that you can answer that question successfully, all you need to do is click on the orange back button to see that image again, and you can switch between the two. This is basically like a text or WhatsApp message, conversation. So really super and simple to get that response back to your accountant. Now this is what it looks like on the Android app. So once again, you would get that notification. When you open up the app, there is a menu option in the top left-hand corner. You would click on that, click notifications, and then you'll have a list of all of the notifications, all of the messages that you've received from your accountant. You would click into one of those. We can see the message now. Again, the same, you can type a reply. And if you need to see the picture of the document, hit the details tab here, and you can toggle between the two to look at the document and then answer the question. The other type of request that you may receive through the mobile app is an outstanding paperwork request. So if you have forgotten to send some of the documents through to your accountant, maybe just accidentally missed a few purchases, you'll receive a notification on the mobile app. And at the top of your inbox on iOS, you'll have this outstanding paperwork report banner appearing along the top. All you have to do is click on that, and then you can see a list of the transactions that have come out of your bank account, but that you have not sent the documents through to your accountant for. So what you do is you'd look at this and think, oh, okay, great. I do actually have the receipt for that, perhaps in my back pocket right now. Click on that transaction. And then once you're in the transaction, you can either click on submit paperwork to snap a picture using the camera, or if you know that you lost that accidentally, click on the dismiss this request to notify your accountant that you do not have that document. And on Android, you would click on that menu option once again in the top left-hand corner after you receive that notification. And this time click on outstanding paperwork report. You have a list of the transactions, you click on the transaction, and once again, you can click add receipt to take a picture, or dismiss, or even the I can't find my paperwork option. Both of these options will notify your accountant that you do not have the document. So those are the two types of requests that you might receive over the mobile app. The next part that you might be requested to do is to actually set up a bank feed so that your accountant can get all of your banking information really quickly and easily, so you don't have to provide them with bank statements. To do that, you need to log into the website application once again. So we're going down to the connections section on the menu and clicking on bank. On this page here, you have a green add a bank feed button. You click that, have a read through the terms and conditions, agree to those. Then you need to click continue when you have this screen about Plaid popping up. Then the next step is searching for your bank. So you have a search button here, or you can select from the commonly used banks that will appear on the screen. The next step is entering in your login details for your bank. And this does differ, based on the bank and the specific logins that they require. Once you've completed the login section, you have the bank feed all set up, ready to go here. You can see that listed, and now your accountant has all of that banking information really easily. So the final part that we're going to go over today is logging into the website application and giving you some live navigational support so that you're really confident and comfortable with that. So let's switch over to that now so that you can see what that looks like. So this is the website application here. So as soon as you log in, you are taken straight to the cost inbox. So once again, costs is those purchase receipts and invoices for the purchases that you're making. These are all of the transactions here that we have in the inbox. And what you'll notice is this looks exactly the same as the mobile app. So everything that you can see here is also in the app. You have a bit of high level information here, but maybe you want to see the image of the document. You can either click on that little icon there to see a preview of the image, or you can open up that document by clicking on the transaction, and now we can see the picture of it on the left and all of the detail of it on the right-hand side. You can set the nominal code here, and if you want to send that transaction through to 0, you click the publish button down here or in the top left of this transaction. Now, if you are involved in a bit of the bookkeeping, then you will be doing this, but some of you will not be needing to do this, okay? So you know who you are. So if you're not doing your own bookkeeping, all you need to do is send the documents into Receipt Bank. Once you have sent that document to Xero, everything is stored securely in the archive. And so the costs archive is down here. So you would just click that, and now you have a list of all of the historical documents. What you can do is search for a particular document by using the supplier search here, or clicking on the magnifying glass to use the advanced search. This means you can drill down by whatever information you have to hand, and that way you can really quickly and easily find the particular document that you need. If you need to do this for a sales invoice, just make sure you navigate through to the sales workspace here. Once again, you can expand that menu and you have an inbox and an archive. Scrolling down on the menu here, we have lists, and this is all pulled through from your integration with Xero. So you'll only need to worry about this if you are involved in the bookkeeping. Coming down further, we have the connections area. And so if you remember from before, this is where we went to go to add, firstly, Invoice Fetch, and secondly, if you need to add that bank feed. And then finally, at the bottom, you have system settings under My Profile, and you have My Team, which is where you can add additional users to Receipt Bank. What we can see here is that we have 3 users on this company account so far. And say a 4th employee joined the company, we need to add them as a user. Just click on the green Add a User button, and then you can add their details and send them an invite that way. So that is a quick bit of navigational support. If you do need any further help when you're using Receipt Bank, there are a couple of places that you can get that within the website application as well. There is the orange Need Help button at the bottom right here. You can search for Help Center articles and even activate a live chat with our problem-solving team. You can also click on the resources button at the top here to access our Help Center and also our YouTube Training Center. So that is the website application. Now, what we want to do is review our learning objectives for today. So let's go through to our learning objectives now and have a look at those. Okay, so firstly, we know how to download the Receipt Bank app and access the account. We can use the different submission methods to send those documents through to your accountant. So that's the app, the email in, fetch, and direct upload. You know how to respond to messages and reports from your accountant, how to set up a bank feed, and how to do basic navigation in the website application.